Hey guys, husband here. Before we hop into the podcast, I just wanted to mention that we tried to do a live podcast on YouTube last night, and we did, but the audio quality is not the best, and I do want to apologize for that up front. Hopefully, we will get this under control for the next episode. In the meantime, bear with us, and I apologize for the bad audio. So enjoy, or not.
Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
And I'm wife.
Together, we're reading the Bible for the very first time.
We grew up without religion and wanted to know what all the fuss was about.
Well, what have we learned so far?
That God is a dick, and apparently some people believe in talking donkeys?
We're not trying to pass ourselves off as experts.
Nope, we're just reading the Bible for the first time and giving our first take reaction.
If you'd like to join us in this venture, you might consider starting at episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in wherever you like.
All right, let's go read the Bible.
Yeah, let's get to it. Husband,
Wife!
do you know where the hell we are and how the fuck we got here?
Well, we just got done reading Ezekiel Chapter 1, and holy fucking shit. I mean, what even was that crap?
It was a fever dream.
Fucking there was something in the sky
Like a spaceship?
with 4 heads of different animals. There was wheels with eyeballs on it and
Within wheels.
and lightning, and I think there might have been drugs involved. I'm really not sure what we read because it was crazy. It was fucking crazy.
This guy thinks it's God, so
Yeah. Well,
and they called it a prophecy, but I feel like it was more of a vision than a prophecy. And even vision, I think, is doing some heavy lifting there.
yeah. No, I feel like the guy was just off his rocker, but
Mhm.
that's just me.
Well, I think that this chapter we're going to get into is going to be like the follow up, and then God said.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
all right.
that's my impression. But
Right.
I haven't read it yet.
Before we go on here, I do want to mention that we are doing this episode live on YouTube for one of our first times ever. We have done some dabbling in this field before, but
Unsuccessfully.
Unsuccessfully. I think this one is maybe
Gonna
going to be successful.
Is it going to
So
stick?
we'd love for you guys to join us on the next foray into this. Definitely get over to our YouTube channel and subscribe if you haven't already, so you can be informed when these things do go live. Generally, they're probably going to be around 9 or 10 o'clock at night on the weekdays,
Eastern
Standard Time.
Mhm.
So anyway, that was Ezekiel Chapter 1.
Sure as fuck was.
Which means that in our podcast today, we're getting into
Ezekiel Chapter 2.
All right, let's do this.
Okie dokie. Okay, so we are jumping into chapter 2 of Ezekiel.
Okay.
After that crazy chapter 1, are you ready to go?
I am. Yeah, that was nutty, and now I'm ready to see what is going to follow that up because
Well, dude fell prostrate on his face when he saw all that crazy shit happening in the sky.
As you might if you saw all that happening in the sky, because what he described was crazy.
Yes,
that was I'd be a little bit taken aback too. So
well, he ended the previous chapter saying something like, and then God spoke, or something like that. Something to that effect.
That's right. Oh, yeah, now God is getting ready to speak right now.
Yes. And right. I wanted to recap that a little bit because it starts off, he said to me.
Okay.
So like,
God
yes.
said to Ezekiel.
Yes. He said to me, son of man, stand up on your feet and I will speak to you. Okay. Whoa.
All right.
As he spoke, the Spirit came into me and raised me to my feet, and I heard him speaking to me.
Oh, okay.
From inside my ears.
So now God is embodying Ezekiel.
He's literally up in him.
Okay.
Okay.
And he was down on the ground.
Ezekiel was.
God had brought him to his feet. Okay.
Which is interesting because in the last chapter, Ezekiel was like, I saw the face and it was cray.
Yeah.
And it's like, but you were laying face down. How did you see it? Did you see it before you went face down?
Yeah,
so,
I don't know.
That's just me being persnickety there.
Sure.
Sure. So
right.
All right. He said, Son of man, I am sending you to the Israelites, to a rebellious nation that has rebelled against me, as rebels do.
Yeah. Wasn't he already with the Israelites? Like he
Um,
was part of the in the exile type deal?
yeah, but he's saying that he's going to send him hither and yon.
Okay.
He wants Ezekiel to deliver this message to all of the Israelites that are in captivity, as well as all of the Israelites that have been scattered to the winds.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Like there's some that are in Egypt, there's some that are still in Jerusalem, like the dregs,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
of
Right.
society are still down there.
Yep.
So he's saying, go forth and say my message.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
They and their ancestors have been in revolt against me to this very day because you're revolting. That was a wifeism.
I think revolt is a strong word though. They were revolting in the sense that they were worshiping other gods that like not and
Okay.
worshiping other gods is even like a little bit too strong, I feel like.
Yeah, I think you're right. Revolting is the wrong verb. They were that would indicate that they actually gave a shit.
Right.
I don't think they did.
No, they're like whatever god can give me whatever, I'm going to worship at it.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna ask it to give me the things that I need. I need
Sure.
rain. I need crops. I need not to die from somebody attacking me.
Mhm.
And so far, God is just doing the bad shit to me. So I'm just gonna worship something else because
Well, so and
he's
so
kind of a
said that if
dick,
I pray to this god over here, that brings the rain. So why not give that a try?
right?
You know,
Yeah,
like I think that revolt is the wrong word there.
I
I think you're
agree.
right.
I agree.
The people to whom this is God speaking still.
Okay, all
The
right.
people to whom I am sending you are obstinate and stubborn. I will give him that. They are. They are obstinate and stubborn.
Well, again, I'm gonna push back a little bit there
Okay.
because when we've discussed it in the past,
Hmm.
we've mentioned that they don't even really feel like they care that much, right? Like they
Hmm.
aren't that affected by this god because they have all these other gods. There's
They
lots of
clearly
shit going on in their
they
lives.
clearly don't have a lot of fear of this
Right.
guy.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at.
Yeah.
They don't seem to fear this god with the amount of fear that he wants them to
And
fear
he
him with.
keeps saying, "Fear me," and they're like, "Meh."
Right? Yeah, they're like, well,
I mean, you're just as scary
maybe.
as any other, which
Right.
ain't much.
Sure.
Say to them, this is God again. Say
Yeah.
to them, this is what the sovereign Lord says. Say to them, I says.
Yeah. Yeah.
And whether they listen or fail to listen, for they are a rebellious people, they will know that a prophet has been among them.
Mm.
So that means that he's saying whatever the reception is, don't worry about that. That's not the main point here. The main point is that whatever their reaction is, you are delivering this message so that they can't say they later that they weren't told.
It, okay, I get that, but this the problem I have with this, and he's saying that they will know that the Lord sent him, right?
Hmm.
How?
Yeah, we talked about this with Jeremiah as well. There's all kinds of false prophets running around. And if you're living during that time, how the fuck are you supposed to tell one from the other? They both look like dudes living down the street from you.
Right, right.
Like
Yeah,
I don't get it. I literally don't get it.
I don't either. It doesn't make a lot of sense because you're supposed to believe this one guy who is one amongst many, as you said,
Mhm.
who may or may not be telling you the truth because there's other people saying different things.
And there's lots of politics happening too. Like with Jeremiah, we suspected that he was probably a double agent for Babylon.
Right.
So, I mean, how's a normal person supposed to know who's really speaking for God, who doesn't have politics in their back pocket, who is actually telling me? So, I think that these people are being unfairly judged, pretending for a minute that there even is a God judging them.
Sure, sure, and it could be easily solved if God would just come down and speak to the people.
The people instead of persons.
Right, he could solve this whole thing and, like, prove his existence, and there wouldn't be any question anymore,
Right.
like, he always has to talk through these
This
prophets.
one person secluded, no witnesses.
Right?
Like
Yeah.
that's not
Who's
suspicious.
apparently having a fever dream, like,
Right.
and this isn't just exclusive to Ezekiel, really.
Right.
Like Moses, you could say the same thing. Like the shit that Moses did up on the mountain,
Yeah.
that was crazy.
Mhm.
That was nuts,
It really was.
and
Yep.
I I don't take a lot of stock in the message here because you're having to believe one person.
Hmm.
So
And this one person isn't any more believable than any of the other dudes running
yeah, no,
around town.
definitely.
And you, son of man, God continues,
Yeah.
do not be afraid of them or their words. Um, okay, I'm gonna push back. I know I keep pausing in between every sentence, but I
Right.
want to push back on that because Jeremiah got thrown into a goddamn pit
Right.
and was beat.
He
And
almost got killed.
prior to that, he was stuck
Well,
in a torture device
yeah.
in those stocks. So I'm sorry, you can be maybe a little bit afraid of them in their words. Maybe, okay, still go deliver the message, but
Sure.
I think it's perfectly natural to have a little bit of fear of these fucks.
Right,
You
right.
know,
Well,
they weren't exactly peaceful and loving.
and to be fair, I mean, when we did research into this, there's a good chance that Ezekiel got killed by Israelites.
You
Or,
mean
I'm sorry. No, yeah,
Jeremiah?
Jeremiah.
Hmm.
Got killed by
Got
Israelites.
stoned,
Right.
stoned to death
So, like,
in Egypt.
God kept telling Jeremiah that he was going to have his back
Yeah.
and that he was going to protect him and he just needed to go out there and speak the word. But then, according to many accounts,
Hmm.
Jeremiah died in the desert running away from Babylon
Hmm.
towards Egypt when they thought he was a double agent and they
Hmm.
stoned him to death.
Yeah.
Like that is an actual one of the very highly thought
Very
possibilities,
plausible.
very plausible
Hmm.
things that could have happened to Jeremiah. And I'm like, so God didn't protect him. God
Right.
fucked him over,
Yeah.
even though he was God's servant, according to the Bible,
Right.
according to Jeremiah.
Yeah. And
So,
Baruch and all the other dudes
right.
that
Yeah.
took up the writing in his stead.
Yes. Yes. So again, Ezekiel has a good reason
Well,
to
that
question this, in
happened
my opinion.
that happened after his time, I believe, or after this moment.
Yes.
So he wouldn't know that, but
Right.
I'm here to say, having read this, it's okay if you're afraid, dude.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm here to be that voice of reason.
Sure.
Don't believe God. It's okay if you're scared. Do not be afraid, though briars and thorns are all around you and you live among scorpions.
Mm,
I would be afraid. Sorry.
right.
Do not be afraid of what they say or be terrified by them, though they are a rebellious people. I mean, I just think that's a terrible message. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say don't be afraid. I would say, hold firm to your message or be brave in spite of all the hardships you're going to endure in the coming days.
Sure.
Like that would make better sense than even when they're like threatening your life and torturing you, don't be afraid. Like what? That's not something you can help though.
No.
Like bravery is not a lack of fear.
Right. Right.
Bravery
It
is
is.
being scared and still doing the thing.
Yeah. Totally.
So this is dumb. The whole message is dumb.
Yeah.
You must speak my words to them, continues God,
Right.
whether they listen or fail to listen, for they are rebellious. Boy,
He likes that word in this chapter.
yeah, he keeps repeating
They
that.
are very rebellious,
Are they
apparently.
rebellious? Did they rebel?
I
I
think they
think
rebelled.
they might be rebels.
Yep, they're pretty rebellious, those guys.
But you, son of man, listen to what I say to you. Do not rebel like that rebellious
Oh
people.
my God, this
Right?
word.
Yeah.
Fuck.
If I wasn't sick of it,
They
I
needed to
am
pull out a
now.
goddamn thesaurus here.
Yes, they do. Open your mouth and eat what I give you. I mean, no thank you.
If someone asks you to open your mouth and eat what they give you, don't fucking do it. Unless you really want to.
You say
But
no.
don't do it.
Yeah, when you walk into a room and there's a little table and there's a little cake that says eat me and a little bottle that says drink me, we've all seen that story. We've all read that book. We know what's going to happen. Don't do it.
Right, right. Yeah.
Then I looked, and I saw a hand stretched out to me. In it was a scroll which he unrolled before me. On both sides of it were written words of lament and mourning and woe.
Oh.
Low, woe,
Low,
woe.
whoa, whoa.
Lots of woe.
Yeah.
Woe unto them. The end.
So God is now handing Ezekiel a scroll?
It's a magic scroll.
Um,
What? So, okay, I have a few notes. Let's see if I can add anything to clear up what's happening.
okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as we know, Ezekiel was commanded and enabled to stand to
Right. God
receive that
embodied
message.
Ezekiel and made
Yeah.
him stand. Sure.
And then Ezekiel, having been overwhelmed with the glorious vision in the previous chapter,
That was
chapter
a
1.
glorious vision? That
That
was a
was
fucking
glorious.
terrifying vision is
Yeah,
what it was.
I totally agree with you. He's now strengthened and comforted
Ah,
because God is in him. You
okay.
know,
All right.
God's like, they're there, baby.
I
They're
guess it's
there.
all in how you view what you're seeing, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So then Ezekiel is commissioned to declare to that rebellious house of Israel
mhm.
the terrible judgments that would very shortly be coming upon the whole land. And if they failed to repent, this is what is going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me stop you for just a second. Isn't Ezekiel, we went over some of this the last chapter, I think, but isn't
Mhm.
Ezekiel down in Babylon with the exiles that went there earlier on?
Yes.
Okay.
He was in the second wave of those scooped up by Babylon.
So
Yes.
he's assuming that they can still fix like this is him pitching
Mhm.
his story,
Yes.
trying to say we can still fix what's coming down the pike here.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
From afar,
Yeah.
but this is the message.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I'm just trying to check here
Nope,
because
you got it.
time frames and all that kind of shit is all fucked up in
And
the
that's
Bible.
why I put that time frame together in the last chapter because I was
Right.
like, hang on. When was this?
Yeah.
I was so confused.
Right.
So, yes, you have the right of it.
Okay. All right.
So, with a gracious assurance to Ezekiel that God would be constantly with him while executing the difficult duties of his office, he gives him these words.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'll be there with you. Don't be afraid. And I'm like, dude, be afraid.
Be afraid.
Yeah. So, I don't know if you noticed, but several times he called him son of man. And that
Mhm.
is a new phrase. We haven't come across that before
Okay.
in the Bible.
All right.
And it basically comes to he's calling him mere human.
Sure.
So he's like, you mere, like basically he's like, ya worm, ya
Got
mountain,
it. Okay.
callbacks to
Right.
things that, he's called them before. And then, um, when he says, "Oh, I also wanted to say son of man." I don't know if you recall, but that's a phrase that is used in the Chronicles of Narnia.
Oh,
Aslan refers to the children as son of man and daughter of Eve.
got it. It's so
So
much nicer there, though.
it is, but it's still kind of
Sure. No, it's an underhanded way of saying you are beneath me
yes.
and low.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Mere human. Anybody anytime you call anybody mere anything,
Right.
like you're basically calling them small, worthless, and
Now,
trash.
I suppose we're supposed to take it in the sense that God is so much higher, right?
Mhm.
And therefore, everything to him is
Mere.
low and mere.
But I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I don't respect you just because you have, a doctor coat on or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Earn it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I agree.
So at this time, the quote unquote children of Israel, as he has called them,
Yeah.
they still had something of a kingdom in Judah and a temple in Jerusalem. So to
Okay.
go with, the timeline that you were presenting,
Right.
those things had not been completely knocked over yet.
Got it.
Okay. So even so, many of them were scattered by the forced exiles under the Assyrians and the Babylonians. So don't forget the Assyrians had come in and done a little bit of damage too
Right. Right.
before Babylon kicked their ass.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of upheaval going on in that
Yes.
region in general during this time
Yes.
frame, and because like the Israelites were occupied by Egypt before Assyria and then Babylon, and like
Mhm.
there was just all kinds of shit going on.
Yeah, so Israel was just this little small thing, just looking back and forth like a tennis match between these three giant parties going, okay,
Right? Yeah.
could I just live?
Yeah.
And they were like, no.
It's just, and that's the part that bothers me. Sorry, guys. That these guys were taking all this in. It was just politics. It was
Mhm.
the upheaval that was going on in that area at the
It was
time.
just a land grab and it was just politics.
Right, and they're attributing a lot of God shit to all this.
Right. There was nothing holy about wanting to own all that land.
Right. It was just the way things were. People were conquering this group and they were conquering the other groups, and that's how things were going.
They were fighting for resources, the end,
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
So many of them were scattered, blah, 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 blah. And so, like I was telling you, God was saying to Ezekiel that the word was for all of them, regardless of where they live.
Got it.
So,
Yeah.
Okay. So then we go on, and Ezekiel is warned that he might suffer cruel treatment at the hands of his countrymen, which I was like,
For good reason,
I'm
probably.
pretty
Yeah.
sure you will, my guy.
Based on history. Yes.
But God is telling him, you still got to persevere, though, bro.
Sure.
But that's not the message I took. Like, that's the note of the apologist is saying that he was told he must persevere no matter what. I will find you. And I'm like, no, what he said was, don't be afraid. Keep going. Don't be
Right.
afraid.
Right.
That's not the same thing.
No. Yeah. No, not at
It's
all.
not.
Because
It's
he said
similar.
somewhat like you could say the same thing early on in Jeremiah
Hmm.
that he was telling him to persevere and that
Hmm.
he had his back. But ultimately, God did not have Jeremiah's back.
Exactly.
It was very much not that result at the end of it all.
Right,
So
exactly. So whether they heeded his words or not, the people, the Israelites, it was still Ezekiel's duty to deliver that message. And he's also commanded to be fearless, resolute, and faithful in the discharge of his duties.
got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Ezekiel was not to share the stubborn attitude of the people. And I'm just like, no shit, really? Like, of course. I mean, it you're giving him this message. Of course, he's not supposed to feel the same way as the people.
Right. Right.
He would be the messenger of very unpleasant tidings, like don't shoot the messenger kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that will, by its nature, expose him to great persecution, just like Jeremiah.
Sure.
And he had to eat the scroll containing God's message.
Wait, what?
That's what actually, when he said, eat my words,
Oh.
that's why I said it's a magic scroll.
Oh.
He's telling
Damn.
him, eat it,
Well, hold
so
on.
that the word of God is literally inside him.
That is interesting because okay, I'm going to go off on a little bit of a
I'm
tangent
going to
here
follow you because I think I
because
know where you're going.
there is a legend, a Jewish legend about golems
Hmm.
where they eat a scroll
Hmm.
and then they are a
That
protector
that
and
brings them to life.
yeah, that brings them to life and then
Hmm.
they are to do the bidding of whatever that
Yes.
person, their master, is to have them do basically,
Yes.
right? Like I'm probably not getting that 100% correct.
No, but you have
But
the general of it, though.
essentially that's the gist of it.
Hmm.
And that is I'm very very interested in the connection here between golems and this verse
Ezekiel.
about Ezekiel.
Yeah.
Is Ezekiel a fucking golem?
He might be. I don't know.
That is really really
Worth looking
intriguing.
into.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So he had to eat the scroll containing God's message, thereby signifying that he made God's message his own before giving it to others.
Got it.
Okay. And so, like I said, he would have the word of God literally within him.
Okay.
Now, I saw some apologists that were like, no, it wasn't literal. He didn't really have to eat a scroll. It was symbolic. It was a symbolic scroll, symbolic words, a symbolic eating, as we all should always eat the word of the Bible and be ravenous and hungry for the word of God within us. And I'm like,
Okay. I mean,
that's fine. So then we don't have to take every word literally, bro. Because
right.
pick a team, pick a side, pick a lane.
Yeah.
Where are we
Yeah.
going with this?
Right.
So that pretty much wraps up chapter 2, unless you had anything else to add.
No, I do not. I just wanted to mention that our cat has been an asshole here right at the end of our podcast
Yeah, you've been chasing
because
her around.
she has been quite rambunctious and causing me all kinds of hell. So
But we persevered.
we persevered.
We did not let the voices of the country bring us to their rebellious ways.
Right.
We,
Yeah.
we were brave in the face of this bad cat.
So all I'm going to say is that I am very interested in following up with some of this information about the golems and
Yes.
the eating of the words. That's intriguing to me, and I'm assuming we'll get into that in a Q&A at some point, probably.
I will see if I can find anything that even mentions that. And yeah,
We'll try to get into it because
Yeah.
we want to.
Because we want to. Yeah, that would be a Q&A Saturday,
Right.
not today, which is Tuesday.
Yeah, that'll be a deep dive for
Yeah,
sure. So anyway, that was Ezekiel chapter 2,
sure as fuck was.
which means that we'll be back tomorrow, but this one we will not be doing a live on YouTube because tomorrow is Tuesday.
Hmm.
And well, the episode will release on Wednesday, but we record it on Tuesdays,
Mm-hmm.
and we will be doing our regular Discord episode for
Mm-hmm.
that day.
And that will be Ezekiel Chapter 3.
Yep, and we'll see you guys then.
Bye.
All right. So that was
A mess.
Jesus. Our cat was being a
Little cunt burger. What the fuck, Dagny? Get your life together. What are you doing?
So, just for those of you who are here with us on this live, just to go over this with you, our cat has a regular interrupt our podcast routine
Mm-hmm.
where she uses the litter box. This time,
And
twice actually
yeah,
during
and
our
we've
podcast.
tried to wait her out like we did this time.
Yeah,
and she will go back.
not successfully. Yeah,
And she scratches for like 10 minutes.
it's ridiculous.
I'm like, it's buried. Stop. You
Right.
can
No,
stop.
when she's not even using the restroom, she's just doing it to fucking piss us off. I think.
Probably
Get our attention or something. She can't stand that we're not paying attention to her.
I think it's because we're talking excitedly and loud, and she does tend to get worked up. Like if we're arguing and we raise our
Yes.
voices,
Yeah.
usually she attacks me
And it
because
probably
she's a daddy's
sounds a
girl.
little bit like that. But then she tries to get into a cabinet, and I have to open one up so that she doesn't try harder to do something else there. And then she comes over and meows by us and starts scratching at a box.
My God.
Oh.
What are you? Are you the Israelites? I think you are. You're a bad kitten.
Anyway,
I
that
love
was
you. I love you.
that was a
bad
fun
girl.
episode.
That was.
I mean, Ezekiel's kind of been fun.
Yeah.
A little bit here right off the bat.
I don't want to say too much because what if, we always get our hearts,
Yeah,
we get our hopes up thinking this will be fun, this will be a good one. And then like 5 episodes in, we're like, never mind, it sucks like all the rest.
Well, that's true because they tend to get repetitive because they're written by a regular author.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to judge right off the bat. Like we're reading something new and seeing how it goes. So.
And new is cool.
Mm-hmm. But this one's got a lot of stuff to comment on and a lot of crazy shit happening. So I'm really enjoying what we're reading so far.
Insofar as it's the Bible and insofar as we're atheists and don't believe in God.
Yeah. So
caveat.
Just to mention this one more time before we slide on out of our live here. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel so you can catch these in the future. And if you haven't shared this with your friends, what the fuck are you doing? Go share it now. And
I mean, unless your friends, are crazy Christians.
I mean, they could maybe benefit from this too. This is with a caveat.
I'm just saying,
a really large caveat.
I'm just saying, like, I have some friends I would share it with, and some friends I would not.
No, for sure. I mean,
make the safe, wise choice, friends.
Right, for sure. But we hope you enjoyed this live presentation, and we hope you will come back for more. We'll probably be doing another live sometime this week. We may not do this for every episode, but
more often now that we seem to have gotten it to work.
Yeah, if this is, I mean, I got to download this and edit this still, but if this worked out well, we will probably be doing this fairly often. So thank you all for joining us on one of our maybe first successful live streams. Mm-hmm. And we
come join us on Discord. And
yes.
Tuesdays at 10.
Our Discord is an amazing community. If you guys aren't there already, please look it up and join us there because we have such a blast. And
they're so fun. There's like a regular crowd and they are just very welcoming and open. I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing over there. They always have to talk me in how to get into the fucking stage or room or what the fuck ever it is.
Yeah.
So they're just very warm, helpful, friendly.
But yeah, if you're looking for a good atheist community, I mean, it's a small one right now, but it is my favorite place to be.
It really is.
With regard to any social media community that we are involved in, our Discord channel is my favorite.
Me too.
And I have a blast over there, and I love talking with everybody that's over there. And we want more people to join because we have such a great time talking about things. So.
And it doesn't always stick to atheism sometimes, or even just the chapter that we just read.
We were talking about Samsung washers the other day, so I mean,
Were we?
I was.
I don't recall
with one of our people on there, Fern. So
we often talk about movies and books. Yeah, that's more me than you.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, thank you everybody for joining us here tonight. And if you watch us after tonight, thank you for picking up and listening to this. And we will see you the next time we do this. So,
Yep.
bye.
Bye.
Hey, wife, I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep, we have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegiousdiscourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe, leave an Apple review, join us on Twitter, support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.